Hey everybody, it is July 25th, 2007. I am Sonic Sons, and hello, E-Nation! It's been a while. Joseph just posted up a thing that said, wow, talk about sluggish. Yeah, and it's been about 10 days since anybody posted a video, and, you know, not much is happening anywhere else. Yeah. Well, what are we gonna do? Best you can do is just do stuff when you can, right? So, talking about, and the other part of Joseph's thing was that we seem to be a little too far off into the abstract dreaming area. And yeah, I can see that to a point. So I decided to make a video about Mark's idea for a website. You know? So Mark says that he knows quite a lot about building websites, and he wants to see what kinds of stuff we'd like, and what types of stuff we're capable of. He wants to make a video sharing thing, right? And this is my first criticism of this, is when you say, you know, okay, well, the real problem is, you know, converting all the things from various formats into Flash video, and then we'll store them on the... No, wait. Hey, now, E-Nation ought to be efficient, right? Now, there are dozens of websites which will do the conversion and the storage for us, and since you only have what you term as a mini server, I say we don't stress that mini server too much, right? So what do you say we just make an embed feature, as we have here actually on the Ning network, where you take your video and you post it up to any one of the hundreds of video type sites in the world, right? And then you just, you know, copy over the embed code, right, and put that on E-Nation, and then we can watch that video through the E-Nation website without actually needing to put it on the server. Right? And save ourselves a lot of space and traffic and stuff. Okay, so there's a place to start with that. Let's see. What sort of things would we do? Well, we'd want to be able to store all the information that we can't otherwise get properly stored on other websites. For instance, how videos relate to each other, right? I think here's a future idea. You put up your video, you know, you embed your video, but it's putting it up as far as this website is concerned, and then you can say, you know, I think this is related to like these 6 other videos, right? And people want to get a full idea of the whole discussion can watch those 6 other videos, or we can, you know, define more abstract topics, and you could just, you know, democracy, to use what we're currently talking about, and then say, I think it's part of this topic, and then people can, you know, link things various ways, and you can even get into the social aspect of that, where the creator can post what he thinks it's related to, what he or she thinks, and then everybody else can think what they think it's related to, and the system eventually figures out, you know, this is most related to that and has an effect on that. And you can certainly post direct things like this is a response to this, that, and the other thing, referencing these various things. We also want user accounts, obviously, a simple name and password deal on that. The ability to post our videos or our text thing. I like the idea you said where you could have like a forum thread or whatever, but you could have videos in that, right? So long as we don't have to lock anything down. Like I have a video that could be part of like 3 different threads at once, so to speak, right? How about we have a place for anonymous people, you know, passers-by essentially, to just post up their random stuff. And obviously we don't want to hijacking the site and like filling it full of crap or whatever. But at least as far as text goes, or at least segmenting it to a certain section of the place, you could say, you know, just have this little thread open, and people just submit what they think is important to them. You know, what they think we ought to talk about. What they think, you know. I'd like to see what you can do in terms of organizing data from various websites, right? Like I have a Blue Dot account, for instance, right? You may have heard that, bluedot.us. And this is an interesting little thing where you see something interesting online, and you click this little button in your browser that you get from their program that says .this, and basically it saves it as, you know, kind of a bookmark, right? But that's useful for if we're talking about some debate or whatever, and I like cite 7 different sources, And how do I get those? Well, I could type up the links in the video description box, or I could, for instance, link to a certain thing on my Blue Dot. Maybe, right? Let's see, I think it's combined with this. I like the idea of polls, or how about ongoing things? You know, you could, in areas where you can narrow things down to a certain number of views, because generally things are more of a spectrum and it's complicated, but sometimes you might say, you know, this issue, you think it's A, B, or C, right? And this could be linked to your profile, like what you currently think on the issue. As a matter of fact, you could, this is an interesting feature, right? So you have everything you can put up, you can link to certain issues, right? And everything can be linked to multiple issues, and every issue can have multiple things. It's multiple, many type stuff. So you have, you link your various content to various issues that you put up, and then that gives the people an idea. When they go to your profile, they can click, well, how does he feel about immigration or something, right? And you can click and see, oh, this is all he thinks about it, right? And in those certain areas where it becomes an A, B, or C thing, you could be part of this data. This is, again, is the type of data that we would have to store ourselves, because I don't know where else it would go. But you could say, you know, I believe in option B for immigration. It's a little bit simplified, but you kind of get what I'm saying. All right, and then if you change your mind at a later point, you can let us say, okay, I'm thinking of option C now. I think that's a better idea. And then you can see how things change, right? You can say, you know, you can just go, okay, I think let's go to the, you know, this whatever issue we're talking about here, and we have 5 people who believe in A, and 12 who believe in B, and 7 who believe in C, right? Assuming we have that many people. We will eventually. We'll have much more, one way or the other. And then arguments go back and forth, and there might be arguments for or against each thing, and there's another type of data you want to say, is this for or against this certain position, or is it somewhere in the middle? You know, we want to offer up things like that. And then, you know, if let's say you're on option A, and you're like, why do people like option B so much? And you can click this little thing that says, why do people like option B so much, you know? And all the pro-option B arguments, right? And then you'll have, like, the anti-option B arguments, right? And then you can have arguments responding to each other, right? And so this one guy says, I think B, and I'm like, well, I think we should do A, and I think you're wrong because of such and such. Oh, I think that you're wrong because of such and such and such. And other people can branch off in discussions. What you really want to do is somehow create a computer visualization of discussion, of argument, and not just like we have threads and forums and stuff, right? Where it's like one guy posts, another guy, you know. One of the things I don't like about forums and threads and stuff is that you spend so much time reading through all the unimportant things. Like this one guy will say, like, you know, he writes a paragraph of why he believes something, and like the next 12 people will write like, I agree, period, or I disagree, period, you know, or some more inappropriate comment, but they won't say anything of particular use, right? So I think, and this would be a nice social thing, if we can start rating each other per video, not like for a whole per person thing, but just on per video, per post. It could be text based, it could be an image, it could be anything. You say how useful you think that was, and perhaps useful in various ways. Now we get a little more complex. If your video talks about 3 different issues, you know, then you could say, well, this is very useful to this debate, not so useful to that debate, and completely stupid as far as that one's concerned, right? Something like that. And then I could see, you know, I'm talking about a certain issue we're talking about. I'm like, well, what do the brightest minds on this issue think, right? And everyone has voted, cross-voted and everything, about how they think about the various posts, you know? And so, whoever's the best on a certain issue comes up, you know, whoever has the most ideas, that gets to the top. And you're like, oh, you click on this first thing, and I find whoever it is that has the most thorough, you know, discussion of the whole deal, of the, you know,